to the build-up from RamsTV. This is the show that gives you everything you need to know before the big game kicks off. Derby County are back home this afternoon, still looking for that first win under new head coach John Eustace, and their opponents today are a side he knows very well indeed. It's still less than a month since Eustace left Blackburn Rovers to take over at Pride Park. Eustace arrived at Ewood Park in February of last year and managed to guide Rovers to championship safety on the final day of the campaign. The task looks even more daunting here at Derby though. The Rams come into the weekend 7 points from safety after Hull's win over Plymouth in the week. Derby have now gone 12 championship games without a win and haven't scored since their 1-1 draw with Norwich a month ago. Nathaniel Mendez-Lang will be missing for Derby again today, but Matt Clark should be back after also being absent for the defeat at Middlesbrough last weekend. As for Blackburn, Valerien Ismael has replaced Eustace at Ewood Park. He got a draw against Norwich last weekend in his first and only match in charge so far. The big news for the visitors is that Andy Vyman will miss the rest of the season with a knee injury, while striker Emmanuel Dennis will be suspended today after he was sent off last Saturday. Blackburn have really enjoyed their recent games against Derby. They're on a 5-match winning streak, including their 4-2 win on the opening night of the season. Derby's last victory came exactly 5 years ago today when Louis Sibley set them on their way to a 3-0 win. More on the matchup between John Eustace's old club and his new club a little later in the show. But first, there is another familiar face back in the Derby ranks today. On Friday, Academy graduate Jeff Hendrick re-signed for the club 8.5 years after leaving.
Yeah, it feels good. See, I was with Dave there trying jerseys on. Both sort of looked at each other and we're like, we wouldn't have thought that I was putting the jersey back on, but once I got the call, straight away for me and me head and heart it was a yeah.
Is it ever in your head at any point over the past 8.5 years that you might be back here one day?
I don't think you think about that. Obviously, probably with the way the club has been over the last few years, I think everyone will say it wasn't in a great place, and so I didn't know if I'd get the chance. Obviously, I've seen players have come back over the years, and it must have been a nice feeling for them, because obviously I've felt that over the last few days, seeing the familiar faces, people who've helped me sort of grow up and took me in and looked after me when I was so young coming across. So it has been a nice feeling.
Before we take you on a bit more of an extended walk down memory lane, tell us how your return to Derby has come about over the last few days.
Well, I was actually away with my partner, and then I just got a text saying the manager's been in touch. Sort of where's my fitness at? Where's my head at as well? Do I want to come in? And I have turned some things down over the summer and January. They just didn't feel right to me. Didn't excite me. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't turning down hundreds of stuff, but the minute Derby came in, it felt right straight away. So I said obviously I'm not fully fit. You can't be unless you're training or playing games, but I hold myself to a good enough standard where I had a certain amount of fitness, but the main thing was just sort of getting in and amongst the group and getting sharper, really.
You mentioned it there, you've been a free agent since the end of last season, so how have the last few months been for you without a club?
More hands-on at home, family-wise, then just sort of going to the gym, got a new hobby in paddle, and taking little trips away. But then probably the most surprising thing was I didn't think I'd run as much as I have been. When you do so many pre-seasons, you think, I'm not enjoying this, but then when you've come out of it, you're just doing it for yourself, really. And like I said, in a hobby of mine, sort of staying in shape and going to the gym and all. So I was working my daily calendar around the family a bit more, but making sure I was going to the gym and trying to get better at paddle. Yeah.
How's the body found it stepping back into a proper professional environment?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The first couple of days where that I was stiff, but no, I felt okay. Just getting used to striking a ball again and twisting, turning. That's sort of the main thing. But after a few days of that, yeah, my body feels good, and I'm just sort of itching to get more training sessions under my belt, really.
And presumably, I mean, you wouldn't be here if the coaching staff didn't feel as though you could add something, but you wouldn't be here if you didn't think you could offer something as well.
Yeah. I suppose you're right. Obviously, I'm an older player now, with maybe a bit of experience, and just sort of to help the players in any way I can, whether it's talking and training or showing them things in training. But you're right. If I didn't think I could bring something, there'd be no point me coming up and sort of being away from my family and all. But like I said, once the call came, I want to try and help the club in any way possible.
That's Derby midfielder Jeff Hendrick. Well, as we return our attention back to today's game, Derby against Blackburn at Pride Park, it's worth looking at the relegation fight as things stand. Hull's victory over Plymouth on Tuesday means the bottom three have now been cut adrift from the rest of the Championship strugglers. For Derby, the gap to safety stands at 7 points. Remember, the Rams still have to play Hull, Stoke, Luton and Plymouth between now and the end of the season. Well, today's opponents, Blackburn Rovers, start the day only outside the Championship playoff places on goal difference. It's one of the reasons that so many were shocked to see John Eustace swap Ewood Park for Pride Park late last month. His replacement, Valerien Ismael, has been in charge at Blackburn for a little over a week now.
The first thing, the weather was really good all the week, so we trained well. It was good to settle with the player, to settle myself as well into the club. Less hectic for sure when you're arriving, and 2 days later is then the first game, so it was a lot of hectic. But now it was more calm to find the routine and to prepare the game. So yeah, we feel ready.
A chance to work on a few more of your ideas perhaps this week as well?
Yes, to work a little bit more, but it's always slightly, so it's not the big change. It's just to adapt step by step the way we want to train, what we expected, but as I say, at the same time to keep the structure together, what the player did well so far. So they were real positive, receptive at what we tried to do. Training session went good with good intensity. Now it's all about the game.
What have you learned about the players in the short time that you've been here that perhaps you didn't know before you arrived at the football club?
Very good character within the team, great mentality, hungry players. You feel the desire to reach something this season. And I see my job now to support them, to help them, to give them advice in that period of time. What can happen, what kind of situation you will face, and just to make sure that we've got all the time the right attitude, the right mentality. You cannot be sure 100% that you will win the game, but at least we will give us the best possibility to compete to get the 3 points.
Derby having a difficult season, they've had a difficult run as well. Despite all of that, how tough a game is it going there this weekend?
Yes, it's always tough, difficult, but you have to understand the situation where the club are in, and to cope with the demand of this game we will face. So I expected a lot of duel aggressiveness, intensity. Maybe try to bring some hectic in the game. They have to win. We have to win as well for different reasons. But I think it's more to prepare ourselves properly mentally, and to make sure that we can take the right decision, the right moment, and to make sure we can come over the line.
Are these kind of games sometimes harder because the opposition are fighting and scrapping for every single point themselves?
Yes, but I think it's good for the boys to learn that and to make sure that those games are very dangerous, because after those games you can have regret, and just to make sure that you not have those regrets and you are ready and focus before the game. You know exactly what you will face, so it's no surprise. Just make sure that you come into the game with the right attitude to cop that. In those games, it's not about to be nice. It's about to be effective, to make sure you can get the points.
That's the new Blackburn Rovers boss, Valerien Ismael. The old Blackburn Rovers boss is the new Derby County head coach. John Eustace, still less than a month into the job here at Pride Park Stadium, and he's still looking for his first win. He says after last weekend's defeat at Middlesbrough, it's been another intense week on the training ground at Moor Farm.
They've been fantastic. The attitudes all week have been unbelievable, really, you know, and I'm very proud of the efforts of the group the boys have put in for this week, and we can't wait for the game on Saturday.
Did you have to do much to pick them up Monday morning?
No, not at all. I think the group were very angry about the result. The manner we conceded the goal, the effort they put in was there for everyone to see. You know, it was a really good effort from the boys, and you know, we came back Monday, we touched on a few things, and as I say, the attitude of the group has been excellent this week, and we can't wait for the game on Saturday now.
I know you've been putting in some long hours, and you were here on Wednesday as well, watching the under-18s in their Premier League Cup semi-final. I just wanted to ask you about how important you think the link is between the first team and the academy, and how close an eye you are keeping on it.
I think, listen, every successful club has that link with the academy, and we want to bring players through who are our own players, and something that we're very proud of. You know, me coming up and playing and starting for Coventry to be a player coming through the academy was something that I was very proud of, and I knew the club were. And during my coaching career up to now, I've got a very good record of developing young players, and that's something that I want to do at Derby County. You know, we've got a fine tradition of bringing good players through, and that's something I want to continue going into the future.
And you had one of those youngsters, Charles Ebou Adams, with the first team for the first time against Middlesbrough on Saturday. What was the thinking of taking him along?
Just to give him some vital experience. You know, Charles is obviously going to hopefully be a big player for the football club going forward. You know, as 3 or 4 of the other academy players are, and you know, just to blend him in with a few of the senior boys to get that feel of what it's like to be a first team player as well in a big occasion was really important. And you know, I think he enjoyed the day, and then he was back to training with the 18s on Monday and preparing for the game on Wednesday. So you know, as part of his development, we brought him up. We had a look at him, and you know, we'll see where it takes him from now to the end of the season.
Looking ahead to this weekend, Blackburn, the opponents, there'll be plenty of eyes on this game, as I'm sure you understand. Are you trying to treat it as any other fixture?
What's most important is it's the next game. You know, we don't look at it any differently. It's a huge game, and as I say, we've had a really good week on the training field, and the lads can't wait.
The days after you left Blackburn, there were some lovely tributes from some of your players. I think Tyree Stoney in particular is one that stood out. I wonder if you read any of those tributes and what those words from your players meant to you.
No, listen, I didn't read. I didn't read many of them. You know, I had a fantastic relationship with the players and the staff there. You know, and that was very important to me. But you know, I left the club in a really good position, and now you know, I've come to a fantastic club in Derby, and you know, I want to help build this brilliant club over the next 2 or 3 years and get them back to where they should be.
And in terms of Derby, you've got 2 home matches in 4 days coming up. How do you make sure that this is the start of the resurgence and this is the start of the change for you?
I think we just keep believing in the process. I think you can see the last 2 games, we've been very competitive. We certainly haven't deserved to lose both games. So we've just got to keep doing what we're doing and, you know, keep working hard. As I say, the attitude on the training pitch has been fantastic, and Saturday's the next test, and one we're looking forward to.
And that's the Derby boss, John Eustace. There are 10 matches in the Championship today. Stoke are at Coventry in one of the early games. Hull go to Bristol City at 3. Luton visit Burnley. Plymouth host Sheffield Wednesday, and Cardiff go to Sunderland. Those are the sides toward the bottom of the table. Portsmouth in action tomorrow when they host the leaders, Leeds United. Finally, before we go, let's hear from the man who's been wearing the captain's armband for Derby County in the last couple of matches. Ebou Adams is celebrating Ramadan this month. He's been telling us how important his faith is to him.
Oh, Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. So obviously there's 5, and it being that one of the pillars is the most important thing. And then it arrived on the day of Middlesbrough. So that's when I started. And Ramadan is more of a case of waking, fasting from sunrise till sunset. And you do that for a period of 29 to 30 days. And it's not just not just eating and drinking for that period. It's more a time to reflect on yourself, to help learn about yourself and what you can improve on, and hopefully be a better person through that month, and just reflect. And for me, I really appreciate it because it teaches a lot about myself every month. If I'm going away from certain things, it brings myself back to who I try to be, and that's to be a better person. And you know what, I enjoy it. Like, the boys get excited because they see me playing during the month of Ramadan and getting through things, which is a good inspiration.
I wanted to ask about the reaction of the teammates. Do they take an interest in it and in your faith as well?
Yeah, they do, to be fair. Obviously, when you tell them I'm not eating and drinking, and they find out that I'm playing for a game that I've played 9 minutes or done a hard session, they're like, how do you do it? And you know what, all I say is like, alhamdulillah. And some of the boys are learning it, and that means like, well, grace from the God, which is, well, praise from the God, from Allah. And they're learning from it, and do you know what, it's nice to see that boys are taking an insight into it. I want to just learn a little bit more, and they're learning a bit of the lingo from it, which is really nice. But no, it's nice. It's not easy playing football and fasting, but it's something that gives me that do you know what, success just to do it, and discipline. And like, if you're hitting a brick wall, you can still get through it, which is, it's more like a life lesson really. And it's not just about football, it can teach you loads of life lessons, which is the main reason for it.
We appreciate you talking to us about that, Ebou. Thank you. To matters on the field, look, we know the run of form, we know where you are in the table, there's 11 games left. Do you see a way back from where you are at the moment?
Oh, of course, yeah. What's the point of playing football? Look, the situation we're in is not nice, but you don't play football for the sake of playing it. Obviously, there's a bit of fun element to it, but yeah, the situation we are where we are, and look, if you can do it, then it makes a bigger thing. But it's not over until there's an R next to someone's name. But well, until then we just keep playing. I'm not saying it's going to be ours, but I think if you look at it now, the table will change. Don't know who for. I can't tell you what will happen, but we will keep pushing until the end of the season, and we won't stop. And the situation is what it is, but I think a lot of weird things happen in the champ. So I believe, I always play with belief. Obviously, no runner from. I think we're not so far from changing things, but listen, as players, we got to do that and sort ourselves on the pitch and pick up points as soon as possible.
You've been captain the last couple of matches. How special has it been for you to wear the armband and to lead the team out?
You know, it's a massive honour to be honest. I'll be honest with you, because it caught me by surprise. I've been given it a few times, but I didn't think I'd actually be named or to lead the team out, which the boys have. Do you know what? They're quite happy with it, and that makes me proud to lead out a team of how can I say, of a family of brothers, to lead them out, and we're going into games. I never would have thought of it 5, 6 years old when they even joined the club. There was no initial thought, but with a club of this, with so much background and so much history, it's only an honour to wear the armband and lead the team out.
And that's Ebou Adams, and this has been the build-up. This afternoon at Pride Park Stadium, it's Derby County against Blackburn Rovers, and there are plenty of special guests in attendance here this afternoon. If you can't be here, you can join us on RamsTV. We're available to watch in the EFL's Unsold Markets. Go to the website dcfc.co.uk for a full list of where you can watch and to buy your game pass as well. Matchday Live with you from 2:30. Until then, goodbye.